cities?
Atlanta, Chicago. I forgot the other ones. I just remember Chicago. I was surprised Miami wasn't on there. And then we were supposed to do the LeVar Ball
What do you,
comment last
what do
week,
you
but
do?
we never got to it.
What do you say?
You know how you talk to all girls. Yeah.
She was saying ESPN saying it was
Inappropriate. But I was like, that was just him being like,
Inappropriate. What do you say?
I'll switch gears. I was like, that's just him being an asshole as usual.
She's
Yeah.
like LeVar can switch gears.
And he was like, switch gears anytime. And she was like, oh.
She tried to say something about it.
No,
She
she
finally came out and said
Yeah.
something about it, but
She was like, she wants a cover. Y'all was like, I don't see it.
apology.
Yeah, he's not gonna give her that.
He told her that. He was like,
He said somebody asked him was like he got banned from ESPN. He
Yeah.
was like, I don't work for ESPN.
Yeah.
How you ban somebody that don't work for it? What happened?
what you got? No.
Everything.
Man, I almost started you first. Okay.
You want to talk about everything.
You was not here when we was supposed to. Did we talk about reparations?
We got into it a little bit.
But
We
you was
did.
supposed to be.
We can get into it some more.
All right, everybody, welcome to another edition of Monday edition of this Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo Rice, and my correspondents.
Double R.
Just jazz.
All right, so back in the studio. Okay, so y'all know we're doing the on air. We're training new personalities. We're training new engineers. It's a new day around here at IBNX with your boy in charge. So it's a new day around here at IBNX. So one of the interns from the Friday, they're in two teams. So it's Team A and Team B. And one of the members of Team A decided to sneak in here today to get it on Team B. So he's on the air again. So we're going to let him introduce himself again, tell everybody who he is again. So, Miles.
Yes. So, what I want to talk about is Bernie's.
No, I have to introduce yourself. We're not starting that.
Miles.
Really? Out the gate? This is what you do out the
Ready.
gate?
I'm glad you're ready
Yes.
Oh, good grief. All right, so moving right along. So, all right, y'all talking about Bernie. What about Bernie? Because I'm going to let y'all start because y'all know Double R is back. Y'all know how Double R
though.
is.
Not gonna talk about our
So,
weekends or any of that.
My
you must have
weekend-
did something.
My
No.
weekend was okay.
I just thought that's what we was gonna do. You know. That's
Oh, today's Monday. Okay, so I'll start. So over the weekend, I was privy to actually two events that I was in the field covering. For those who don't know, I typically do a lot of in-the-field events. So I was able to attend the I Elevate Black Tie Gala, which is with Bishop Allen and First G. Rashad Burgess. And they do LGBTQ honorees and all that good stuff. And we were actually at City Hall. So there was a plethora of personalities from Gary with the T to Bevy Smith to all those great individuals. Actually did get the opportunity to interview Bishop Allen and First G. So it was really interesting. Then on Saturday, I was with the first black-owned spirits expo. So these were all African-American owners of wines, beers, all that good stuff, their own distributions. It was truly for us, by us, which I fuss about all the time. We say that a lot. But unless everything is us, then it doesn't count to me. This was all us. It was for us, by us. About 15 vendors. Shouts out to Tiffany and Scott Richardson. They were the creators of this great event, and it was amazing to see. It was honestly black excellence at its finest. I was really impressed and blown away. And we were downtown at Area 351. So it was really nice. So that's what I did this weekend.
Did you roll up your windows while you was downtown? Lock your doors?
First, what you not about to do is make me say ugly things on the air. That's what we not about to do. I only lock my doors and put my windows in certain areas, and downtown is not one of them. Thank you, but I
I'm just
digress.
checking.
What did you do this weekend, Jazz?
I didn't do anything. But you should have seen me on 285 trying to get here. I had to take my grandma to the doctor. You know how when you have cancer and you have to keep going back to the doctor and all that.
Okay, well, I don't have cancer, so I don't know.
Well, no, they usually have to always go to the appointments after to make sure it's like no cancer and all that stuff.
Okay,
She
well,
doesn't stay in the area.
You said you know when you have cancer. No, I don't. I don't have cancer.
Oh, okay. Well, now you know.
I'm just saying I don't know anything about that. I'm just you said it like I'm supposed to know. But
Okay, well now you know. That's
Rude.
the moral of the story.
Okay, well fine, carry on.
And so I'm here now after.
Yeah, you got lucky. You don't. Any other time you'd have to wait till we go on break to come sliding up in here.
I asked Sarah.
I know it's fine. Sarah didn't know no better. She know now. Shouts out to Sarah. She's replacing Joseph, so she's our new engineer. So shouts out to Sarah. She feels so special. All right, Double R, what did you do?
I was in the trap.
All right.
What is?
I was in amazing music. That was it.
So are you working on a new album
Yes, I am. Yep.
already?
Yeah. I'm going into the kind of the last finishing touches.
You cutting songs?
No,
Oh.
no, I recorded. So the way I put my projects out, my last album, Can I Borrow a Dollar, I wrote that album last year. My first album was supposed to be Journey of a Dollar, which is the album that I'm going in, I'm mixing it, retouching it up. That was supposed to be my first album. I recorded that album 3 years ago. So I'm just going back in, tweaking some stuff. And it's a series. So I just, I'm working into it. And Journey of a Dollar is it's supposed to be a double disc, but I split it up. Like, you remember cassette tapes?
Yeah.
You gotta take tape out, flip to the other side. I know you don't listen.
I know what you're talking about. Don't bring up that 90s mess no more. Golly.
Jazz, you so testy. I mean, God, you're a baby. I mean, what do you expect?
I'm not one of the babies that are just horrible.
Oh man, we have.
We're not
freaky
saying
babies out
that.
here.
But that's the way he implies it
We're
every
not
time
saying.
he...
Wait, Miles, how old are you?
I'm 26.
How old are you?
I'm 22.
God.
Goodness
man.
gracious, he old enough to be my older brother.
She's a-
That's literally it.
You a Freaky baby?
No.
Oh,
When
okay.
you born?
I was born in '93.
Yeah, you're a freak, baby.
I was born in 97.
Yeah, you're a freak.
God,
Honest-
I literally
honestly-
graduated high school in '97.
But honestly, I don't think my mom knew what Freaknik
My
was.
mom didn't go to that. Yeah, like...
You don't, but I don't
My
know.
mama had a baby, so no, she didn't go to
Every
that.
city had freak nigga.
And my daddy was in the military, so no,
Oh,
he didn't go to
man.
that.
Oh no, she wasn't leaving that base. She wasn't going nowhere.
Okay,
I wasn't doing that. I was just working on music, man. So
I ain't gonna lie. You know, you sent your music to me in the phone, right? And it pop up as, "Can I borrow $1?" In my head, I was like, "Why you asking me for $1?" Then I remember, I was like, "That's the name of your." I was like, "Why is he
I'm
asking me
absolutely
for $1?"
concerned.
It's funny because a lot of people tell me that when I send them the link. So, bro, you need $1. I'm like,
That's exactly how I was. I was like, "Why is Double R asking
Wait,
me for $1?"
okay, so there's a logic to why you named the album that. Why did you name the album Can I Borrow a Dollar?
so in my journey, which is why my album is so it's a series, the Dollar series. So it's Can I Borrow a Dollar, Journey of a Dollar, Journey of a Dollar Side B, $1 in the journey. And I kind of grew up in a neighborhood where like money was like the thing that made you. You know what I'm saying? Everything you
That's
did.
every neighborhood. I mean,
But like when you, especially when you grow up like around in the drug culture or in the gang culture, the street culture, money make you. Like no matter how lame you are in your neighborhood, if you got money, you the cool dude. So if you could pull up in the Chevy on 24 with white walls, but you
That's
lame,
tacky.
like girls don't really like you for real,
I would
but
never
you
give
got
that
the
card.
check, you the cool dude. And I kind of grew up around that, so I started writing my album like if what if you had a conversation with money? So the first song on Journey of a Dollar is what would you do? What if you could have a conversation with money, and money asked you like, so what you do to get me? Like, who did you have to kill somebody to get me? Like, did you lie to get
so
me?
it's kind of ideology when we say if these walls could talk.
Basically, so it's like if what the journey that money went on to get to you, basically what it is. But if you view yourself as the commodity, you view yourself as the money. What did you do to get to your dream? Which is why last album is called Dollar and a Dream. Because a lot of people separate it. They either want the money or they want their dream, and they never put them together. You know what I'm saying? I'm willing to live my dream without being broke. You know what I'm saying? I recorded for a long time, made no money, made a lot of music for no money, performed for a lot for no money. So it's like, okay, now I'm starting to see the fruits of doing all that work. So when I get to that, to the dollar in the dream, you'll be able to see like, okay, all the steps I took on the way to that. And a lot of people usually don't view that they don't view it like that. So I wrote it like that, and it's all visual. It's music, but a lot of my favorite artists were visual. You know, they'd say something. It's like, oh, I see that. Like when Biggie was talking about the Sega Genesis, and I had a Sega Genesis.
Oh,
I
good
knew
grief!
what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I always wanted to do that. I always wanted to show what that street life was really like in real life, not like the cool parts where you the cool dude that's pulling the trigger. Cause it ain't always like that. Sometimes you gotta watch somebody get hit. Sometimes you get hit. Sometimes you just over there and you see somebody pull the trigger. So like, what does all those angles look like? You don't never hear that, especially now. Everybody want to be the shooter. Everybody want to be the money. Everybody want to be the cool guy. What it look like when you're not that dude, and you gotta look at that dude, and that dude look at you a certain type of way, cause he really grinding to get it, and you just watching him like, man, I want that. You gotta do some work, and this is the work. You know what I'm saying? I just want to show the work. That's it.
All right. All right, so we're going to jump right into it. And actually, it's interesting that Miles is on the show because it's a follow-up on your story from Friday.
Yes.
All right, so apparently the 10th American has died while vacationing in Dominican Republic.
Yep.
Vittorio Caruso, 56, of Glen Cove, Long Island, died last week, according to family members. Caruso's sister-in-law said he died after suffering respiratory distress and a possible heart attack. The spate of deaths has some Americans wondering, do we really want to go to the Dominican Republic, or should we call it a day? Now, the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino in Punta Cana said it was removing liquor dispensers from guest room minibars. They claim this has nothing to do with the deaths. They're just playing it safe.
I do not believe that at all.
Why they just randomly removing them
That
then?
is one of the craziest.
That was the first story. The first story was that somebody died from liquor poisoning.
Yeah, but now we're
at the minibar.
9 deaths later, and we're still. Okay, so I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but this sounds very interesting because it's like, okay, well, if alcohol has nothing to do with this 10th death, and we're saying that he died from respiratory distress or a possible heart attack, why are we removing liquor from people's rooms?
Yeah, that's what I just asked. I was like, that's random.
And they don't want it to seem like, because now then you got to start blaming the liquor company.
Well, from what I heard is that they like Dominican Republic, they're using fake liquor, fake alcohol, and I don't
mix it with water.
And they probably mix it, and people, whatever's in the fake alcohol is just not good for people.
What
But
is-
Yeah, but if you
I guess
mix-
it's cheap. It's just like,
What is fake alcohol?
That was
Is
my next question. What is fake alcohol?
It could be like anything. I personally don't know what's the ingredients to it, but I could say like it's
whatever
just
they
like
put
fake
in it.
anything.
But
Like,
usually fake, not necessarily fake liquor, but like in clubs where they water down your liquor. So they'll have a full bottle of liquor, but they'll put a whole cup of ice.
Which, I mean, I get that, though, but it's not going to make you sick, so I'm
Yeah.
I'm
It's
confused.
not supposed to. So that's what they're saying. They're saying it might be another substance
added
we
with
can't
that.
necessarily track. This is the problem. The Dominican Republic is an American territory. So this is starting to look crazy.
yeah.
This is starting to look crazy because the DR was the spot.
Yeah, for the longest. And I don't think it's all that expensive to do,
It's
so.
cheap. That's why
It's
everybody
really
go there
cheap.
for
It's
college
cheap.
and stuff.
And now they said they losing hundreds of thousands of dollars. People canceling trips.
Well, I mean, when you talk about 1 or 2 people, okay, that could be a fluke. When you talk about 10,
10.
okay, we on a mission. So,
within 2 months.
yeah, I'm like, at this point, this is real. Like, we talking about 10 dead people, and nobody has any real answers. Yeah, not the business.
These
So,
lawsuits about to be disgusting.
These lawsuits about to be crazy.
I mean, lawsuits from who, though?
From the families.
Families. But what
There's
can they
no,
sue about?
yeah, what is the basis?
Right now, they have nothing to say.
Exactly, what is the basis? You can't base this on anything.
Whatever substance they're using is causing natural causes. So it's like,
And we've seen it's funny because we've seen this before. That's what bird flu used to look like.
What is that?
people was dying from bird flu.
You
Wait.
remember bird flu?
I don't remember. See,
You remember
I-
swine flu?
I remember
what was-
swine
Oh, no.
flu.
Let me break it down in their term. Y'all remember Bird Box on Netflix?
Yeah.
There you go.
talking about bird box?
There you go. See, you got to break. There you go. Bird Box on Netflix. That was bird flu. That's how it started. I look like that.
Bird flu, when people started to get it early, when people back when it was a thing, just like swine flu, or I compare it to swine flu. People were starting to get sick. They were starting to catch colds, and then all of a sudden they just had pneumonia, and then all of a sudden they be dead. And you can't track it directly to the meat until they started tracking it in the cows. So you got to track it in the cow first, and then by the time you process the meat, we don't know.
But I thought it was pigs.
That's swine flu.
But it was everywhere.
Right.
It was everywhere. It was in beef. It was in the chicken. It was in.
Right.
People was just getting sick for no reason. So when you recall $56 million worth of meat, it ain't just pig meat. That's all the meat. That's a lot of food, and that's when you start seeing this vegan thing.
I say that's what encouraged. Yeah.
So what do you guys think we should do? Do you think we should put a ban on going to the Dominican Republic right now? I mean, granted the Dominican, they will lose a lot of money if they do.
I don't think it's a matter of you putting a ban on it. People are intelligent. So what's going to happen is what's happening. People are like, I'm not even taking a chance. I'm not going. I'm good. I'll find someplace else to go. Refund me my ducats, and I'll go someplace else because I'm not going there and risking my life. It's not that serious.
Why just go to Jamaica?
Yeah. Or Cancun or something like that.
They're just going to take a hit for a while, and then they'll pop back up next year.
When 5 white girls get kidnapped in Cancun, I'm good.
What? What?
You
were talking about that.
He said
that was Miss America. Is that what you talking about, Miss America girls?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I talked about it. I was saying something about that.
They left the resort though, according to Mr. Ricardo.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they left they left the resort and was rummaging around the city.
Ain't nobody know.
Pretty much. They tried to be cute and think they were gonna be some island boys, some cabana boys running around the island.
Like I said, I left my resort and I enjoyed it. So
I would not brag.
I'm good in the
I wouldn't brag about you making it by the skin of your teeth.
It was not the skin of my teeth.
I'm just saying, that could have ended very differently.
Well, I'm here today to share my story.
Like I said, I wouldn't be bragging about that because you got lucky. I wouldn't be bragging about that because you got lucky.
I'm good on the DR. I'm good.
Well, here's the thing that we have to be mindful that all of our ecosystems are kind of connected. So people not going to the Dominican Republic is going to have consequences for their city, their country, or whatever for them as well as us. So, because then it starts deterring people plans. We have to remember that the resort industry is a huge billion-dollar industry. So when you start affecting this here, then people start getting weird about going other places that are around Dominican Republic. It can turn to a hot mess real quick.
And they're not dying in cheap hotels.
Yeah, that's true too.
In like
five-star resorts.
The Four Seasons, the Hard Rock, which is one of the biggest resorts in Dominican Republic.
Yeah, Hard Rock is no joke.
Hard Rock.
So if you dying there, where can you stay, basically?
I don't even know if I want to eat at the Hard Rock now.
It ain't all that anyways.
It ain't, but still.
Not the point. The point is
the experience. Like, what is they gonna look like for the Hard Rock in Vegas?
Yes. These are all connected. So if that happens there, and let's say another death happens at Hard Rock, now it's becoming a franchise thing. It's like, okay, well, wait. Why are they only dying at Hard Rock? Okay, so we don't need to go to Hard Rock. People are fickle. It don't take but a second for them to make a decision to think like that. So we'll see what happens. The one thing we need is autopsies. We need autopsies so we can show. I know, and we need some kind of trend that we can tread, that we can follow to say, okay, it's been definitive X, Y, Z. This is what it is, and we're not getting that. So until we get autopsies, everybody's kind of flapping in the wind. But I would suggest that they get them, so because people are looking for the connect, and until people can get a connect, everything's gonna be off limits.
Connect is the bar. All of these
whatever the
people
bar
are seen at the bar, or drink from a mini bar, and that's what's going to be bad. That will destroy the liquor industry. If they impose a temporary prohibition just to figure this thing out, imagine how many billions and billions of dollars the liquor industry will lose. But imagine how many aunties in the hood gonna make money.
What, from moonshine? We going back to that?
Moonshine. Imagine how many
people just running liquor stores out their house.
About to be in the crib making hooch.
Oh, good God. Then we have a bigger epidemic problem. I mean, a bigger problem with epidemics from that kind of stuff. I don't even want to think about it. Let's just hope that they release autopsies so we can get some definitive answers and we won't have to deal with this because it could get really worse.
They better put Kim Kardashian on.
Okay, and moving right along. All right, so y'all been talking about the Burnster. Yeah, your man. So what is the problem with the Burnster?
Yeah, man. So story broke a couple days ago that he was planning to unveil a plan to eliminate $1 trillion worth of student loan debt.
How?
So it's saying
sounding like old girl.
That's what I said too.
He'll submit legislation that cancels $1.6 trillion of student loan, undergraduate and graduate debt for approximately 45 million people. This ambition class has no eligibility limitations and will be paid for with the new tax on Wall Street speculation. It says The proposal goes further than the plan already unveiled by his Democratic primary rival, Elizabeth Warren. Warren's debt relief package was subject to income eligibility levels to determine how much relief an average person would receive. And the parameters that Warren said aimed at closing the racial wealth gap. Under Sanders' plan, if you have student debt of any kind, it would be canceled the second legislation is signed into law.
So basically, he came and said, I'm going to eliminate everybody's debt on like
No.
Warner.
He said he was going to eliminate 45 million people's
Because
debt.
Warren, I don't know her name, but you know what I'm talking
Elizabeth
about.
Warren.
Yeah, she was like, you had to go to a public institution, so that already eliminates you if you went to a private institution. So his is the complete opposite.
Well, he's basically taking what. See, the thing is, and nobody will admit it. Even what she was talking about, it's the same number of people.
What, 45 million?
Yep. Because she's saying if you went to a private school, it's a lot of private schools. It's not a lot of big private schools.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? Like Harvard, private school.
Tuskegee private, it's only 3,000, so yeah.
Well, you can find a lot of HBCUs on that list.
It's a lot of, and so
I mean, just
3,000, and that's what grad school.
Actually,
grad
isn't every HBCU a private school?
yeah.
No,
Who's not?
FAMU's not private. ASU's not private. Albany State's not private. Fort Valley's not private.
But
lot of not
the
private.
larger,
Yeah, the larger, well-known.
so
are-
Morehouse private, Spelman private. Like we just talking about Georgia. That me and him was just talking about
Benedict.
it. $22 million for 456 students.
Wait, how much?
$22
That's a
million.
lot.
The guy that paid that debt for Morehouse, it was $22 million
that's crazy. They make that.
for 456 students. So imagine a school that graduates 1,500 kids a year, like Duke.
I guess, and Simone talks about this all. Me and Simone go back and forth about this all the time. There has to be, if this is what we're doing, because at one time you were it was an investment you should make. I found myself talking to somebody out of going to college the other day, which I thought I would never do. But unless you have a diehard major that you're gonna be guaranteed money when you get out, such as an engineer, doctor, I wouldn't even say a lawyer on that list anymore. Engineer, a doctor, some of the performing arts, depending on which ones we're talking about. I don't even know if it's worth it to even amass that amount of debt. And let's not even get into going into higher education, masters and doctorates. Like I open my student loan envelopes now and I'm ready to cry because it's just that ridiculous. I'm just like
I'm trying to remember the name of the movie where they had all of Divergent. So you remember in Divergent where they separate you and they say, hey, no, you're going to go and be an abnegation, which is you're going to farm the land, you're going to till the land, you're going to control the crops, you're going to teach people how to make money from crops. And then we're going to send people to, you're going to be a divergent, which means you're going to be in the military. That's going to be your job for life. You're going to go defend, you're going to be a cop, you're going to be a firefighter, that's your job. Or you're going to go into this other field, which is the political field. You're going to study. You're gonna be the doctors and the lawyers and the this and the that. This is going to turn into that with education. You're going to create a system because I heard somebody say it before. I think Joe Rogan might have said it. When you start telling people what they can do in school versus them choosing what they can do in school, that's what this will turn into. It'll say, well, we got too many doctors and it's not enough hospitals to pay all of them. Which is why most specialists get paid so much, which is why healthcare is so much. Healthcare doesn't make money from premiums. It makes money from debt. When you miss a payment on insurance, the interest that's added to your payment is ridiculous. Same thing with car insurance. The same thing with house insurance. People think like getting renter's insurance, if they tell you getting $20,000 worth of coverage, it actually covers you for $20,000 for $130 a month. That math don't sound right. That math don't sound right. $150 times 12 months isn't $10,000. So how can you give me $10,000 worth of coverage? Well, that means you're going to amass the interest on my payments. I'm going to miss a payment, and then my insurance might lapse, and then I got to pay 3 times my insurance to get my insurance back. That's how they plan on. So that's student loan debt. You get $50,000 in student loans. You graduate, you get 6 months to let them know what you're going to do. After 6 months, they say, well, you could defer for another 6 months. And then you could defer one more time. So you get 3 deferments before you got to go into forbearance. So after those 3 times, you got to tell them something. But the interest you've amassed over those 3 times, which is 18 months, that's what you got to pay.
Yeah. And then they had the option of subsidized and unsubsidized, and I heard them trying to do away with unsubsidized, which means that they would take care of the interest that's on your loan, and you just have the loan. Now you're hearing about unsubsidized trying to be phased out because they want to get the interest.
They want the interest.
It's a rat race. It's a terrible
interest.
rat race. And like I said, I can't say that I can advocate, and I have 4 degrees. I cannot say that I want to advocate for people going to college unless those majors are very specific and can guarantee you a job, which honestly I think we need to start holding colleges accountable for their graduates. And I'm not talking about a graduation rate that's based off just because you have a job. A graduation rate that is based off, are you in your field? But if you are in your field, is that number that you're making an equation to what you actually owe? And if not, I think we should start holding the colleges liable.
I think you should hold high schools liable.
How?
Because in Georgia, in New York City, they have high schools that are very specific to what their education is. So they have arts, sciences, math, and something else. In Georgia, you only got maybe 3 or 4 schools that's like that. Carver is like that, where their campus is set up. You got performing arts, you got something else.
South Atlanta's like that too.
South Atlanta is like that. Southside was a school that was supposed to be science specific. That's the school I graduated from. Now it's Maynard Jackson. I don't know what they do, but I live in Lawrenceville, and in Lilburn, it's a school called Discovery High School. It's one of the biggest schools that looked like one of the biggest schools I ever seen. It looked like a college. It is a science school. Down the street from there is another school that is a mathematics school. Up the street from where I live, I think it's called I forget. It's another school. It's a mathematics school. They're starting to separate these things in high school. No, this is what our school is, and then you pick what field you're going to go into in high school. So if you want to study math, that's where we're going to push you in that direction. So by the time you get to college, you'll already know what you're going to do. If you go to college in your first year, you don't know what your major is going to be, don't go to school.
All right, hold that thought. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more of this and other topics on the Leadership Band with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
You're listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com. The station with the best music. Best music.
I love the music.
Best music.
Like, I'm glad I got
It's Jay-Z.
Hey, I'm Mariah Carey.
Hey, it's Katy Perry.
It's your boy T.I.P., man. Get in. It's your boy Sean Kingston.
What's up, y'all? I'm Beyonce. This is Nicki Minaj, and I'm in the mix with
IBNX Radio.
Yeah.
Rock me real slow.
Girl, you don't know nothing about that Gabriel Garçon? His name nasty. Gabriel Garçon.
How's that nasty? It sounds cool.
Man, I hit you last week, bro.
Put a bib on me. I'm just like a baby drooling over you. The things you do.
Yeah, no, that day, so I left my charger here. And I had put my
What these cords do have a shortage?
Is the chord that I changed? I changed it with this.
Rock me real slowly.
Appreciate you. I guess it's not important right now. You don't have no more guests on the show right now, right?
1 o'clock.
Put a bib on me. I'm just like a baby drooling over you. The things you do.
I thought did we fix it?
the things you do.
Jazz, you got something? Oh, we only gotta get through the first hour. We gotta guess the second one. We'll have to get through the first hour. We gotta guess. Figure out what direction we wanna go in.
Put a bill on me.
LeVar Ball, brother.
I'm just like a
He
baby
always talking
drew.
trash.
Oh,
Basketball, NBA. See how I feel?
There you go. I don't know. You said
Okay.
basketball.
Now you see how I feel? Y'all
the
talking about
things
that.
you
So-
do.
That says more about you than it does us, but okay.
Oh, wow.
I'm just saying.
What's you?
They gonna go for the thing. Okay.
See a whole bunch of. You know how many people they really don't know their social security number?
Most people don't know what their social security number is.
Cause I had to learn my social security number when I hit 5. Like that was like I had learned that with my phone number and address and all that.
Your social security number can be used
Your
in
life.
ways. But what it is, it's your number.
Yeah, you could leave a message just on my phone. Or you could leave impressions just on my dome. We could make it messy, turn off light bulbs. Got you feeling sexy just from my tone. Yeah, you could leave a message just on my phone. Or you could leave impressions just on my dome. We could make it messy, turn off light bulbs. Got you feeling sexy just from my tone. Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be
So what you saying now?
You know that question was loaded. Yeah, yeah.
You know that question was loaded. You know that question was loaded.
Yeah.
You know that question was loaded. I peek your vibe. Under the denim is appealing. Codeine sipping. Slow these minutes. You describe a dose of your image. Picture you under these linens. Did we hit it, sip it, bit it? Cause I'm feeling waves to the feeling that you're giving. Feeling like the open window to my ceiling. Hold the yacht up like Simba in his kingdom. I know it's kinda late, girl. Know it's kinda late, girl. Let me deliver you. I really do. Take you to dinner food for the mind, but we can take an interlude. Hope you don't consider rude. Your booty, your shrine, I'll start a religion too. But man's not ever afraid to tear it up in the nude. Hit it rude, treat you like the lady you are in a mirror view. See you got a leak and it's dripping. Man's kinda thirsty in his kitchen. Get my intention. You are life's most beautiful invention. Send me your location, hit me up, did I mention? You don't need no prescription for this drug. Let me be your medicine plug. You can leave a message just on my phone. Or you can leave impressions just on my dome. We can make it messy, turn off light bulbs. Got you feeling sexy just from my tone. Yeah, you could leave a message just on my phone. Or you could leave impressions just on my dome. We could make it messy, turn off light bulbs. Got you feeling sexy just from my tone. Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be
So what you saying now?
medicine.
You know that question was loaded. 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 let me think a sec. You got a new man, let me intercept. I don't even care if I disrespect, but that would be wrong, it would bring regret. It hurts, but it ain't killed me yet. Gonna make me stronger, I will protect. Trying to talk to you, but you ain't forget. I know I got flaws like a masonette, so call the love doctor, I just shot Cupid. The Kentish town nuisances, tell me what prudence is. This juice don't disgust us. Supposed to be smooth, but this tune get roughed up. I got a dark side and a light one. We can keep going till the night's done, and after, you know what gets me going is the giggles and your laughter. After a new pasture, last one a disaster. I need you more than I thought I did. Now I realize I've got more to give. We left gaps that I ought to bridge. You put me in the dumps like an orphanage. Before we kissed, I didn't realize there was more to this. I didn't realize there was more to this. I didn't realize.
Yeah, you could leave a message just on my phone, or you could leave impressions just on my dome. We could make it messy, turn off light bulbs. Got you feeling sexy just from my tone. Yeah, you could leave a message just on my phone, or you could leave impressions just on my dome. We could make it messy, turn off light bulbs. Got you feeling sexy just from my tone. Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be
So
your
what you saying now?
You know that question was loaded. Yeah.
You know that question was loaded.
Yeah.
You know that question was loaded.
Yeah.
You know that question was loaded.
Let me be your, let me be your, let me be your medicine. Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your, let me be your, let me be your medicine. Let me be your medicine.
Let me be your medicine. Let me be your medicine.
This Monday edition of the Leadership Blend with your host Ricardo Rice and my correspondents
Double R.
Just Jazz.
Miles.
Miles, the real.
Oh, good grief. All right, so when we left, we were talking about high schools and colleges and my ideology that we should start holding colleges accountable for all this student loan debt that these poor kids, myself included, that these poor individuals are amassing to get degrees that may or may not be actual working degrees, meaning you leave an institution today, go into the field, find a job immediately, and make money. Like it's one of those things, and we're not. Yeah, I don't.
Too many unemployed college students.
But I mean, I guess the question becomes, should, and I guess the job of a guidance counselor is where I feel like we went wrong.
It's in the title.
Everybody doesn't do their job as a guidance counselor, so they may physically be on campus, but a lot of kids don't know about them.
Right.
So like at Tuskegee, they were there, but I just found out about them literally last year. But when I was like at FIU, I could see the difference between them. They took their guidance counselor position way more seriously. Like they had way more career fairs and stuff like that. They utilized their resources. So I think it comes back down to like the position, are you holding your weight?
Well, I think you hit a key point. I think it also boils down to career services, like AIU, the career services, because their job, in essence, is to help you find a career and prepare you for a career. But this is the problem. People fail to realize when you use the term downsize and you start downsizing positions that you don't deem necessary, this is the kind of stuff you encounter. Because then you go, well, we don't need, because I've seen a college, I'm not calling names, that downsized their career services department. So they went from about 6 or 7 people operating in different aspects of career services to maybe people. 1 or 2 people.
And then they have to do so much work.
You not.
I say they
name. You are not.
I say they
but
name.
But the
right
point
now.
is, in you alleviating those 4 positions, they did distinctive things that were, in a grand perspective, carry different responsibilities. So now you're taking all of those responsibilities and you're throwing them on 2 people. On top of those 2 people still expected to fulfill their duties to their job descriptions. And now you're saying, okay, well, on top of this, so look, We know that your job is to build relationships with the community. That's cute. But now we also need you to guide students. Well, I didn't go to school to be a guidance counselor, so I don't really know this. Oh, it's easy. You know, you just get a couple students in here. We'll put a little quota on you. You meet with 5 or 6 kids a week. Mind you, you're talking about 5,000 students a week. The expectation is I at least meet with 6 or 7 of them a week. What have we really done? And we're not going to increase your pay. So there's no incentive. So now you want me to do 3 people's job and you're not giving me more money?
That's something I'm seeing a lot too with entry level positions within like marketing and stuff like that. Do you know I saw a job that was paying only $13.50 for entry level for marketing? That's crazy.
That's y'all man's.
No, but
that's y'all man's fault.
But let's analyze why that is. I don't encourage kids to go into marketing because what is marketing now? But marketing is social media, stuff like that you can figure out. That's free.
I know, but like the marketing position, that's like SEO and stuff like that. Unless you're like with a necessarily big company, they still don't want to pay you.
But analytics, see, people keep thinking that marketing is marketing. It's analytics. That's tech. These kids know more about that than us.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? And it's going to be disgusting in the workforce because everything is going towards technology. Most people don't want to go to school to study the intricacies of technology. Coding you could take a 90-day course on coding and start coding and get a job today.
Yeah, that's what Simone was talking about.
Like you can do that online. They'll train you as a coder. You can get a job as a coder, and it's super easy to do. And you can make more money in coding. But you're starting to see, and we talked about this the last time, the increase in truck drivers. Truck drivers is one of the best paying jobs in the country, and you can do it with just a high school diploma and a CDL.
Yeah, but
truck drivers get paid more than bus drivers. They get paid more than train drivers, and it's more consistent. So if I could go and make $85,000 driving trucks, technology, what?
Yeah, but the problem is
in this truck.
If people hate to drive, because I know I hate driving.
And it's a specific field, but it's the same thing with working in advertising, working in marketing, working in retail, being a teacher. All those things are very specific. You have to want to do them. If you don't train people before college to figure out what they want to do after college, they'll never know. It shouldn't take you 3 years to figure out your major in school. And if you wait until your senior year to figure out what your major is, it's too late for you to try to find a job.
Well, and also, here's the beauty. So some colleges have a degree which is called interdisciplinary studies. I didn't know what that was until I almost graduated. What it is you make a collage of your own major and you can pull from other curriculums to create your own major. It has to be signed off by your provost, but that's free. I threw it out there. Interdisciplinary studies, if it's offered, that's what it is. You kind of make your own major in essence, and you can pull from different curriculums to create that, and it has to be approved by a provost or your dean.
And I want to see you walk into a Fortune 500 company
I don't see them encouraging
I have a degree in interdisciplinary studies.
Actually, you will find a lot of people in higher education, academia, have interdisciplinary studies on their resumes.
But that's academia. I can see that, but like he said, going into a Fortune 500
it's no different than having a business degree that's not specific. Because they can look at it and go, oh, that's cute. You majored in general business. Great. So what can you actually do? Versus saying, oh, I have a business degree and I'm specialized in accounting. Oh, well, welcome on into the 500 Club.
Well, yeah.
It's the same thing.
How is it the same thing?
It's the same thing.
Well, you have to specialize in something with that.
Because you know the most common degree is business administration.
Which means nothing.
I never understood what people, I never understood.
But that's what I went to school for. And I just so happened to major in finance. So I can take that to a different job. Business is like...
That's broad as...
This is business.
No, this is business. The water in this container is business. Like it's that vague. So when you come into another free lesson, if you're majoring in business, pick a specialization.
Right.
Finance, accounting, project management, which is becoming a big thing, which I personally think is vague too. But project management, have a specialization.
Business.
Yes, have a specialization, because if not, you're walking in with a stack of papers and be like, "Oh, you majored in general business, great."
And you're only going to be good enough to get a teaching job, and that's just real life.
What?
You could be a teacher or you could
office manager,
business administration. There are 4 jobs that you can get right after you graduate, and it don't take that long. You get a job as a secretary, you get a job as a retail manager, assistant or store manager. You can get a job as a teacher, or you can get a job at Waffle House. Now, in real life,
Waffle House.
hey, look, in real life, you have to understand that having a major means something. The problem is that kids are majoring in the same thing. They're looking for the same job. So when you got 10,000 kids graduating in general studies, graduating with a political science degree, everybody that graduates with political science, you assume to believe that they're going to go into politics.
Which is what I did.
No, they literally graduate with a political science degree because it's super easy to get if you go to a 4-year school.
That's a lie from the pit. Mine was hard.
If you go to a 4-year.
I've heard a lot of people say political science is fairly easy. You just have to
because you didn't go to a 4-year. You got into political science after his mic. No, you need to turn the speakers down. You got into political science after your first degree.
No, my undergrad is political science. From Coastal. That's what I majored in. And that crap was hard. And it wasn't even fun.
Because Coastal is a small school.
No, it is, especially not now. No, it is not. Political science
How many kids y'all had? 1,500?
No, it was more than that, I think.
2,000?
That was 2009. I don't remember when I graduated. I know it's a lot bigger now. That's $1 million stadium. So it's a lot bigger now. My point was, I have an associate's degree in paralegal studies. And I enjoyed that because it was sectioned into different accounts of law. So there was a bankruptcy class we took. There was civil law. There was torts. It was so much fun. So I majored in political science thinking, oh, it's going to be an extension of that. No. Political science was all theory, and it was boring. And the only class that I enjoyed in political science was diplomacy because my teacher, Dr. Belize, was an ex-diplomat. So she would tell us stories about all the stuff that happens at the embassies. So we loved her class. But outside of that, and don't get me started on the capstone class. It was god-awful. Shouts out to Dr. Tankersley and Dr. Riley for being great teachers.
Hey,
but
look,
yeah, it was
I ain't saying none of y'all teachers' name. Y'all know what the move was. Y'all know what the move was.
Why did you even pick AIU to do business anyway?
So so when you going into a specialized school, I wanted to go into finance. That was the thing. I'm gonna go into finance. I'm gonna deal with money. Well, AIU was one of the small schools that offered finance as a major. I'm like, bet, turn up. Like, let me go get this quick jump real quick. I only gotta be here for a year because I went to Westwood.
Oh,
I went to Westwood. I went to Westwood. I got my associates in business administration. I graduated. I never went back. I ain't go to graduation. I ain't do nothing, and I ended up at AIU. Now, my goal was to go to a large school after Westwood, so I tried that. I went to Talladega to play basketball, and still was in finance.
Wait, what year are we talking about? Because I mentioned
2009.
No, I graduated.
No, 2008. 2008. It's 2008.
Oh, no. I'm thinking about South Carolina. I got here in 2009. So it's between 2009 and 2010.
Yeah, so when I graduated from high school, I went directly to Westwood because it was down the street from the house. And in real life, I was in music, and I was still, I was as a songwriter. So I was like, okay, let me go get this money real quick. So I went to Westwood. I got this degree. I never went to school. Like, I can't even lie. I hated school. And one of my favorite people ended up being a teacher there. And when he left, I left. I was like, no, I'm online now.
This is not like some...
No, it is.
Sporting event where when they leave, you leave. It's not a sporting event.
He came. I started coming back to campus. I was like, because campus is mad boring and these girls is ugly. So...
But wait a minute.
When he came, I came.
Wait, what school we talking about?
Westwood. So when he left, I left. I finished online.
Where's that located at?
It's close. It's close. It's close.
It's nowhere. Didn't they close down?
Yeah.
It's nowhere. It was a for-profit school, so it closed down.
They lost accreditation in 2012, and it's over.
Okay, well, first of all, you started out wrong because you do not go to for-profit schools expecting to have student life. That's not what that is.
No, I didn't want student life. I wanted a job.
You wanted student life. You supposed the girls ugly.
Oh no, them girls was dumb ugly. Straight up.
First of all, I'm not even getting there.
Shout out to Kira though, she wasn't. So anyway, I went to Westwood. I graduated. I went to Talladega. I broke my hand, and I couldn't play. And I was like, first of all, Talladega. If you've ever been to Alabama, you know like it ain't a whole lot to do at these schools. So I went to Talladega. I went and visited UAB because I wanted to play basketball, but they had their team already, and I couldn't get a partial scholarship. So I redshirted at Talladega, and I got partial scholarship, and then I broke my hand. And I was like, I'm going home. Because this is whack. It ain't nothing to do here. I ain't had no car. So I'm just stuck on campus or whatever I could walk to. I came home. I went to AIU. I graduated from AIU in finance. I say, all right, well, I want to get my master's. I go to Georgia State. Mistake.
What's wrong with Georgia State?
First of all,
what was
let
wrong?
me tell you something about the graduate program at Georgia State. It's not bad. It ain't bad. But if you ever tried to park downtown,
well, that's why I wouldn't.
And had to realize that you got to walk to 6 buildings downtown, and you think that when I was young and I used to catch the bus, I used to think like, dang, all these buildings like, oh, okay, Idaho right here, okay, this building, oh, all right, cool. Until you got to do it every day, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that. So I left. I took 6 months off. I went to Argosy, like, yo, let me go get this check real quick because I got these grades. You know what I'm saying? And it started turning into a check for me. Like, I'm going to just go to school just to get this refund check.
I'm sure you regret that now.
Well, yeah.
I'm sure you regret that now.
I'm pretty sure we all do.
Yeah,
that's.
But I went to Argosy, and I'm like, Argosy is actually a really good school. Like, if you get to know your professors, they are actually really good people.
Hey, let's not advocate for Argosy. They closed down too.
Yeah, but I digress.
That's why I was working on my doctorate. They closed down too.
All these schools are closing down.
Yeah, so
they're for-profit schools.
Yeah, for-profit schools. They close you down real fast. But the thing about this school stuff is when you put people in a field that does not make that we assume to not make money, and then that be what make money, you having a guidance counselor, like, they didn't tell me to go into finance. They said, well, if you like business, go into marketing, go into advertising. I make music, so they would kind of try to steal me there. But then you end up talking to people, you deal with people, and then those people be gone. Now you got to deal with somebody that don't know your personality, that don't know you, that don't know what you want to do, and they're telling you, I mean, you know, you can kind of do whatever you like, you know, and I can try to help you get a job. I didn't come to career services to get a job. It's called career services.
Right.
So how you trying to tell me to get a job in career services? And then you realize after a quarter in career services, that person be gone. Now you got to deal with somebody new that don't really want to be there, but they need a job. And they don't know you. And they don't know your grades. And they don't know how you move. And they don't know your relationship with your... That's the thing about small schools in places like that. And even at big schools at Talladega, I never met the person in career services. I never met my guidance counselor. So I didn't even know who these people were. And by the time you realize, when you leave the school and you like, why y'all even work here? What's the point of having a guidance counselor or career services if they never talk to... Your goal as a guidance counselor or as career services is when you see junior year, okay, you've picked a major. I need to come find you to help guide you in the direction that you need to go. I need to get you started on building your resume, building your LinkedIn, building those relationships, get you to these career fairs. You might not have the cachet to get the job now, but when you graduate, you've already met the people. You've already met the manager. You've already met when I went to AIU and I met the CEO of Pepsi South. When I graduated, I met him again and he offered me a job. It was entry level. I took the job and I did it for 6 months and I made some money and I wanted to move up. And I ended up taking a job with Foot Locker that offered me a position that paid more. But if I wouldn't have never met him at AIU, when I first got there at a career fair, I would have never had that opportunity. These schools don't introduce opportunities like that. So they put these kids in position where you owe $50,000 when you graduate. And you got to get an entry-level job that pay you $12. You looking stupid when you get your check. Like, who is FICA? I don't even know her. But my student loan payments is $400 a month.
Yeah.
Oh, that's it? I thought they were like $1,000. They tried to... I looked at mine. It was like, so your payment will be $6,000 a month.
Who?
They told you what?
Who? My, because again, I have 4 degrees, so my debt ratio is high. So they was like, yeah, so your loans, your amount will be $6,000 a month. I have yet to respond. Have you lost your mind? And
I know, like,
and my loans have been consolidated through a government agency and supposed to be income based. You've lost your rabbit mind. We're not doing that. But
and that's why I didn't finish my master's program either. Because I seen when Sally Mae switched to the Department of Education or to Navient or whichever one Cuz is now, and I seen what that breakdown was every month, $842 a month. Hey, cuz, that rent, you trim. You trim.
Yeah, I be talking to some people and they tell me how much they owe. I be like, I be complaining about mine.
Yeah, it's not.
Because I know people with like 60,000. I'm like, that's just undergrad.
Well, but that's what I tell. Now, here's the issue that I have, and I've been having this discussion a lot with HBCUs. Actually, I got into a very interesting conversation with some guys when I was driving, and like I told them, we have the discussion, and it takes us back to HBCUs. We have the discussion about the black experience that African American kids get at HBCUs. I get it. It's not my thing, but I get it and can absolutely appreciate it. But is it fair for me to ask an African American student to go to a HBCU, which is probably private, and pay double the cost, and I don't get any more of a guarantee that I'm going to find a good job to pay this loan back? When I got accepted to a HBCU here in Georgia, they were going to double my student loans and decrease my financial aid. Well, I was already going to a PWI, which is a predominantly white school, and I was getting the complete opposite. So my question always becomes with HBCUs, is that fair to ask a student to come to your HBCU and pay double the cost for a black experience when I can go to a PWI and probably have the adverse experience? People get angry about it, but it's a fair question to ask at this point. And I also say, considering the fact, and I'm not being funny, but a lot of these HBCUs have had money problems with people stealing from their own kids. I was like, so are we just going to negate that fact? That a lot of you have had financial problems from your own administration stealing from these same kids that you're trying to give this African American black experience to? Come on, people. At some point, we have to have a real conversation. Love HBCUs. I absolutely understand why they were created, but there needs to be a resurgence in how we look at them and the experience that they're giving their students. But we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk to our guest today, Mr. Ronald Green. So stick around with the Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
Tired of doing the same old thing every Wednesday night? Well, don't. Join IBNX radio host Jason Carey every Wednesday night from 8:30 p.m. to 1 a.m. for Wild Wednesday, your midweek turn-up. Wild Wednesday, featuring $5 Long Islands, $3 Jello shots, $2.50 PBR, and food specials. Wild Wednesday, with free arcade games, half-price bowling, and half-price kart racing. Wild Wednesday, featuring award-winning host and entertainer Jason Carey, Mr. Morning Coffee Swig himself, providing the soundtrack and the entertainment all night long, playing your favorite hits of today and yesterday. Wild Wednesday with Jason Carey every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. to 1 a.m. Free entry for guests over 21 and $10 cover for anyone 20 and below. Wild Wednesday goes down at Andretti Marietta, located at 1255 Roswell Road, Marietta, Georgia. That's 1255 Marietta, Georgia, every Wednesday night. Pull up!
I was in a dark, dark place, yeah. 4 feet beneath my needs and my memories. It's kinda hard to be good enough for you. Yeah. But it's even harder to be good enough for me, yeah. Or maybe it's just because my ego has been eating up my logic since the day I was born, yeah. But this shit's been fucking with my workflow. I be feeling negative about the one I adored, yeah. So we've come a long way since long train rides, and I'll gladly take a slice of humble pie. With beauty's in the eye of the beholder of a lie, oh. Don't you dream it? You say what's right, try do what's right, but do you really feel it? Or you say what's right, try do what's right, but do you really feel it? Or you say what's right, try do what's right, but do you really feel it? Or you say what's right, try do what's right, but do you really feel it? I'm grateful for some time for reflection, but I mustn't let my lens be blinded by sex. But I must admit that I love the attention. Man, if a woman wants to act dirty, that's a choice and a choice I will respect. Or maybe it's just because my ego has been eating up my logic since the day I was born, yeah. But this shit's been fucking with my workflow. Have me feeling negative about the one I adored, yeah. So we've come a long way since long train rides, and I'll gladly take a slice of humble pie. The beauty's in the eye of the beholder of a lie, oh. Don't you dream it?
Everybody, welcome back to this Monday edition of the Leadership Blend with your host Ricardo Rice and my correspondent
Double R.
Just Jazz.
Is that? Are we sticking with that?
Yeah, I'm sticking with that.
You gotta have a little more
we gotta take we gotta take a vote because I had to make Jazz change hers because it didn't fit.
What was yours before?
Jazz, not Jasmine.
I like that though.
Oh, thank you. Somebody did.
That don't. He's an intern. That don't count. And he's a new intern, so that don't count. Now tell him what your new one is.
Just Jazz.
Exactly. Now, exactly. There lies in my point. You see, we can ask the guests. All right. So in the studio, we have one of my newer community friends. I'll say that, Mr. Ronald Green, and he's going to tell you about himself and introduce himself. So go ahead and do that, sir.
Well, my name is Ron Green.
I know that. Look. Actually, I only did that because you introduced yourself and said Ronald. I was like, oh, so he does go by Ronald at some point.
I do go by Ron, but my government is Ronald, so that's correct. But everybody call me Ron Green, so that's cool. First of all, I want to thank IBNX Radio for having me here. I appreciate it. So I actually met Mr. Rice, I don't know, a couple years back. I run an organization, a youth development organization in Cobb County called Operation Snatchback. And I met him a couple of years ago. Every year we do a big event at Andretti's. and he was the guy over there. And when I met him, I just saw leadership. You could tell people who are leaders. And I saw that from him, so I wanted to know more about who he was and what he did, and we exchanged information.
I didn't pay him to say that. I did not pay him to say that.
He did not. He did not pay me to say that. That's on the real right there. But because I'm an observer, I look at people. I look at body language, characteristics, and stuff like that because I know how important that is. But that's how we connected. I'm from a little bit outside Chicago, about 90 miles outside Chicago, South Bend, Indiana, and
I didn't know that.
And yeah, Midwest. And I grew up. I hadn't always been a founder of a youth development organization. I grew up in the bricks, in the projects, the ghetto, whatever you want to call it. Mama had 6 kids. Father,
really?
Yeah.
Wait, where do you sit?
In the middle.
Really?
Yeah. I'm in the middle. I'm in the middle there somewhere. But you know, Pops went around. You know, he was doing his thing, and Mama, she wasn't educated. She didn't have much education at all. She did a lot of domestic work. She worked 3 jobs to keep our bellies full. You know, and during her absence, you know, when I walked out my door, I saw gangbangers, drug activity, criminal activity, prostitution. That was my world, man. So it wasn't really long before I started navigating towards those kind of pools, if you will. So 16, I started selling drugs. 17, I became a full-blown drug addict at 17, hooked on the same drugs I sold. That's the crack cocaine era. So it's a little bit different era now. Now it's opioids, prescription drugs, and opiates is the major killers out there now. But it's all designed to do the same thing, basically. It's to destroy your dreams and your life. But I stayed in that state for 27 years. So I've been arrested over 30 times, been sent to penitentiary before on drug charges. You know, I grew up, I experienced a lot of homelessness. My house was a cardboard box that I built in the woods, and when it rained, I put a big piece of plastic over it, and that was the spot right there. Yeah, and you know, I had been reduced to that. I was the guy who, when you come into Atlanta, you get off at the exit, and you got the guy waiting at the exit. Usually he's holding something. What's he holding?
The sign.
Sign, right? That was my deal. For a long time, I held that sign, and I stood on that corner for a long time because I was held captive by something that I wasn't great. That was greater than me at that point, you know. So after many years, I remember getting on my knees in the woods, and I asked God. I said, God, Mama didn't raise me like this. I don't know how to fix this. I've been doing this for so long. I need you to help me, man. Are you there? And when I said that prayer, there was something activated inside of me. I made my way to a treatment center and stayed 1 year there in Marietta. It's called The Extension. I stayed there 1 year, and I found out that I had incredible gifts and talents that the world was really waiting on. And if I didn't deliver, the world really would hurt behind that. So I started to buy into, you know, who I was and what I was here for and my purpose and all that stuff. So I kind of rebuilt my life at The Extension. And then staying clean wasn't good enough for me. I said that I need to do more. So I examined where could I help at, and then I looked at my own life and said, okay, I need to help in youth development because I looked at my own life and I'm responsible for every decision I ever made. Let me make that clear, right? I'm gonna own that, but there are always precipitating factors that lead a person to make certain decisions, right? So I started looking at how these generation of youth are coming up today, man, and it's even worse than when I came up. And I know what the problem is, but also I have a solution inside of me today. So I figured, you know, that's my space, right? That's my jam, is youth development. I know how to mold and shape and lead youth to be successful, man. So that's kind of a nutshell of my background and who I am and what I do.
I learned a lot today. Okay, so why the name Operation Snatchback?
So if you think of operation, you think of, when I think of operation, I think of a procedure, right? So this is a procedure. You have to be precise with, you talk about changing the mentality or shaping the molding the lives of youth and to keep them on the right track or just to lead them, then that's a procedure. That's a lot of moving parts in there. So operation, it's an operation, man. Operation, you know, they might as well be on the operating table, man. It's that serious. And snatch, you know, everybody know what that is, man. So we aggressive at what we do. We got our whole thing is pretty innovative, man. But we serious about, you know, about shaping and molding the nation of youth, man, and keeping them on the right track and keeping them out of jails, institutions, and keeping them out of the morgue, man.
So what is the objective? I know that's the objective. But how do y'all execute that? So do y'all have Saturday programs? Do y'all have weekly stuff? What is the layout?
So the layout right now, we got 3 programs we run right now. One is called our Youth Alliance program. That's ran in Austell, Georgia. We have a training facility out there. And we train youth ages 13 to 24 who are at risk, marginalized, or underserved in several areas. Leadership is one. Soft skills training. Reading body language, being able to shake hands. If you notice when I came in, I make sure that I look at everybody, I shake their hand. I look them in the eye and make sure that we just we exchange pleasantries. That's just that's been lost. So we train them on soft skills, man. How to communicate or send a message, and how to be able to receive messages, and how to listen as opposed to just hear something.
Wait, so y'all doing like elegant classes and stuff like that?
What's that?
Etiquette classes and stuff?
I mean, you could call.
Look, I'm just saying, like, if you need to do some etiquette classes. I know how to do that kind of stuff. What is a shrimp fork? What is a salad fork? All that kind of stuff.
Okay.
My college did that, and when we did it, I was like, I went to technical school, and they made us go to an etiquette class. And when we sat there, I was like, this is stupid. You know how many of those dinners I actually go to, and I'm just like, oh my God, there's like 3 forks here for real. I was like, I know what this is. So it's a thought. Etiquette class, get your nice etiquette teacher.
No, you.
I didn't volunteer. No, I didn't say that. I didn't volunteer.
Thank you, preacher. Sign this real quick, man.
No, I did not volunteer. I just said you should find an etiquette teacher to teach etiquette class and teach them things like what is a salad fork, what is a shrimp fork.
It sounds like a volunteer.
All that good stuff.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like. Does that sound like volunteer to y'all?
Then y'all are not good. I think that sounds like volunteer. Y'all are not good active listeners because that's not what I'm saying.
Can I say something real quick?
Yes.
I love your story because I'm from that hood too. Like when you grow up, and what a lot of people don't understand is if you're not in those streets, and then you step back and you look at what's in the streets, you'll never realize where the leaders actually are. People that can run organizations in the street, whether you selling drugs, whether you got a gang, those people on that level. Like you usually don't see it. We've seen it in history because that's where all of the Black Panthers came from. They was in street gangs in the street, and they decided to unify. The leaders, especially in this generation, are those dudes out there. And if they could just step back and do the same thing that he did, like, I could do something better than this. Let me see if I can take a different because that a lot of the time jail do that. You know what I'm saying? That's what all my OGs taught me. That's what I learned. Going to jail, you go a couple times and these folk give you some real time, or they put that time in front of you, it'll change your whole life. And then you realize, like, well, I don't know how to do nothing else but be a leader. I don't know how to do nothing else except for galvanize people. And what if I can galvanize them to do this on this side versus doing this on this side? So like that, I love the story because you usually don't hear people get ready to tell that story until late. Like it's already too late. You done already did 30 years and now you get out and you like, yeah, man, I couldn't do nothing else. But you had a different option. You could have stayed there or did something else. You could have still been different, but you ain't have to go into this. You ain't have to go into, let me go get the young dudes. Let me go get the young girls and let me talk to them and try to lead them and you ain't have to do that. You could just be like, well, I'm going to just go get a job. I'm going to do better for myself. But you decided to share it.
No, I appreciate that. That's a great point, and you're exactly right. It's just, we have to change our mindsets. This is the way my philosophy is in life. It's, if there was a person that showed me a better way of living or a system that worked for me, and I am now benefiting from that system, and the quality of my life has improved, and I'm out there winning, and if I do not go back out and duplicate that and show someone else how to do that, then I am no longer an innocent bystander to all these societal woes that we see, the gang banging, the drugs, the violence. I am now an accessory to those crimes because I have a solution inside of me and I'm not sharing it with anybody else. That's real.
Right.
Wait, so did you serve jail time?
Yeah, I did.
A lot?
Not a lot. I started smoking pretty quick. But that's just real though, But see, you know what? One thing, I never met one bad child in my life. No bad youth. And people say they bad as heck. I ain't never met them. What I have met is a child that runs on a bad program. Right? We all run on a program like a computer, just like a computer.
So you don't think there's any bad kids?
Not bad. I think that they have been programmed in a bad way. They just need reprogramming. They need a computer programmer that comes in that just changes the software in the computer and changes the way the computer runs. Same difference, same thing. Because look, those kids born into the world, they're not bad, but then they got programmed, right? Things that they read, things they watch on TV, things they will see on social media, their environment, surroundings, they become programmed. I was programmed too.
So you don't believe in like the genetics and hereditary that some kids take upon their parents?
I don't believe that. I don't believe that there's a child born into this world that is just bad. I don't believe that. I believe that from the time that they hit their feet hit the ground, they start to look at behaviors. I was in Walmart the other day, and there was a lady there, and she got into an argument with the cashier, right? And she had a little boy with him, probably about 6, right? They started going back and forth. Then they started using profanities, and then they started getting in each other's face and pointing. And I saw the boy, right? He didn't look like a bad boy to me. He looked at a couple things. He looked like he was scared. He looked like he was confused, but then it also looked like he was learning something, right? He was learning how to deal with conflict. That's just something that we learn as we grow older. We learn through what we see, what we take in, right? And then when we see boy takes gun to school and kills someone, we see all that, and then we say, what's wrong with these kids? They're crazy. They've been programmed in a bad way, but they just need reprogramming. I see them all the time. I reprogram kids all the time. So that's just my personal belief. I'm not a this guru or anything. I'm just looking at my own personal experiences and stuff like that, and things that I examine. Now I think we all program, man, just like a computer.
So what age groups do y'all typically deal with?
13 to 24. So usually middle school, high school, and young adults, up to about 24. That's the area right there, especially middle and high. We want to start snatching there. Middle school, you're able to retain or really grasp some penetrating information and stuff like that. All of our training is what we call experiential groups. So we don't do no lecturing. No, that's out the way. Kids ain't gonna listen to lectures, so they learn by experience, right? So experiential group is, if we talking about peer pressure, we create a feeling of peer pressure in the room, which however tactic we want to use, and then they learn how to get through it. We do role plays. They learn by participation and their own experience. They can retain it better.
Like simulations where people kind of, because I saw y'all had a pilot. They had a pilot.
Yeah, that was a special deal we did. That was kind of like a career day kind of deal. We had some people from the National Black Pilots Association. I can't remember the name of the group, but it was all pilots. They were all of color though. I'm talking about captains and everything. Had the uniforms on. They fly, right?
I saw the picture. I was like,
we don't see that. But that's one of the things where, programming, if I see that, then I get interested, I ask a question, then we start getting different information. It becomes a different program. Instead of just looking at Mookie down there who pushing kilos, right? And he dressing nice and looking nice, and that looks pretty inviting, right?
True. That's true.
That a lot of people don't. Usually when you don't come from that, or you've never done that, it look different. So like with children, and me and my friend, because I study psychology, like a lot of things that people don't pay attention to, especially with little boys, is everything that a little boy sees, he will apply in one way or another. So me and my friend was having a discussion. She has a son, and she got into an argument with the dude she was dealing with. And he was sitting there, but he was watching TV. And she said that he got into a spat at school, and he repeated word for word everything that his mama said to the dude in school, to the little girl. And I was trying to explain to her, everything that little boys see, it's different for little girls because they'll usually apply it later, but you can change it. With little boys, it be immediate. So if you curse around a little boy, he will find a way to use that same curse word and do the same thing that you did in the moment that you said it. So you'll curse around your kid and look down at him like nothing went wrong. With little boys, they do the same thing. Little girl, because I got a daughter, I've watched it. It's not always immediate, but especially with little boys. So she asked me, she was like, what should I do? Like, cause he really cussed the little girl out. And he like 7, but he gave her all the words, like everything. I'm like,
but she said it in front of him.
She said it in front of him to the dude she was dealing with. So, and I told her, I said, with little boy, you're a single mom. That dude not your man. So everything he see you do, he will apply that. He will assume that is the way. And because the dude that you dealing with is around, he would assume as a 7-year-old, well, the way that my mama talked to this dude and the way that this dude talked to my mama, that's the way I'm supposed to talk to him. That's the way I'm supposed to act. I grew up around a whole bunch of dudes that fought, would put the pistol on the ground and fight real quick. So I assume when I started getting older, like every time somebody say something crazy, like we gotta fight.
That's it.
Every time. I ain't grow up around a bunch of dudes that was like, nah, we gonna shoot the. Nah, I just grew up around the people that had it on them all the time and would take it out and hand it to somebody next. Hold on, I'm about to show, bro. Like, what you say? I seen the dude when I was a kid get slapped so hard. Like, I ain't never seen nobody get slapped that hard. Like, went to sleep standing up slapped hard in front of the whole hood for just talking crazy. But when you a kid, you assume that's how you handle the problem. Like, you gotta act it out like that way. And it's dope when you see, because we don't see a lot of grown men until after. Like, after they done been shot a couple times, after they done did time in jail, they come through and say, nah, I want to try to catch them early. Because it's already too late. It's hard to tell a dude that's 18 as a grown man, hey, bro, let me talk to you real quick. Because what you doing, man, what you mean, bro? I'm getting money.
But that'll be the question. So, because y'all deal with, what, 13 to 24?
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all deal with the 18 to 24 age group? Like, what do they get? Because it can't be the same thing y'all are giving middle and high school kids.
So it's a dose of what we give the middle and high school kids. But with them, we just have to make sure we have continuous touches, exposure. So in order for a child or even a young man or woman to really buy into a new system, because what happens is your brain is always wants to fight change. That's just, your brain does that. It wants to fight change because whenever there's something uncomfortable or foreign to it, it wants to fight or resist that, and we get that. So the deal is, for a child to really buy into what you're trying to teach them, they have to do three things. They have to know you, like you, and trust you. So number one, we get to know them, right? We want to know them, so we want continuous touches. I'm not saying, hey man, you got to make an A, you got to do this. Right now it's just about building a relationship, right? So you build a relationship, they come to know you, then they begin to like you, like some of your information, how you moving, they watching, how you moving, and then trust you. If you say, hey, I'm gonna come by at this certain time and get you, pick you up, we're gonna go here, then follow through to do that. So once they know you, like you, and trust you, then then that opens up your ability to really shape and mold them. And back to his point, he made a great point earlier about some of the great leaders. Some of the great leaders in the world are leaders of gangs. And when I say that, I'm not promoting or I'm not endorsing gang activity or organization. That's not what I'm doing. But I looked at that, right? Most of my partners was gangbangers growing up. I just look at the whole deal. This is the deal with gangbangers, right? They use a system. I looked at it and they use a system. I call it the ABC system to recruit, right? Number one, the A is acceptance. Right now, where like a mom or dad or uncle, whatever, you get an F on your report card, you're gonna get pushback. Sometimes real big pushback. The heck are you doing bringing an F home? Da 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 da. Gang members, man, you got an F. It's all right, bro. Matter of fact, don't even go. You ain't gotta worry about that class. Just come on, hang with us. However tactic they want to use, but they make them feel acceptance first. That's A. The B, then they make them feel a sense of belonging. A lot of these kids don't belong to something. They're missing the father. They don't get a lot of love from the house. So guess what? They hanging out with a gang. They feel a sense of belonging. The human spirit yearns to belong to something. That's why you got so many organizations, so many, we want to be plugged in. And then final, the C is competency. So they might tell a young man, hey, go down to that liquor store, take that stick down there, stick it up, and bring me back the register and everything in it. So he might do that. And if he do that and get away with it, he come back, give it up. Look, I did it. Dude, man, great job. You going to move up fast in this game. You tight with it. Now, guess what? Now he has a sense of competency, like he has a sense of value. Now you take A, B, and C collectively together. Once you establish that, there go blood, sweat, and tears for you. That's great leadership. But we just do the same thing, but apply it on a different scale, right? Not to be out there banging or whatever, but it's the same strategy.
All right, so we're going to put it on pause. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, we'll have more with Ron Green.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Your government, don't even get me started. So we'll be back on the Leadership Band with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.
You're listening to IBNX. IBNXradio.com.
Let me get your info real quick.
All right.
Boy, we trying to
Somebody give me.
Okay.
Somebody tell me the answers. Me and you isn't the answer. Me and you isn't. Maybe I'm telling myself that, but there ain't nothing that'll change that. What could it be? Find me how you felt around me. It could have been right, but I was wrong.
Somebody like Big U, like.
Only think about you and I'm alone.
Yeah, you're right though.
Part
Yeah,
of
you're right.
me that cared is gone, and I know that I can't get caught up. We could
Just a couple of other programs and partnerships that we built.
every now and again.
And then, you know, I like the way we're flowing right now, just picking apart.
I'm holding it in, cause I know in the end, you dream about, I think about what we could have been. We could have been, we could have, damn, yeah. Remember the night in Miami, first time you put your arms around me. I'm up reminiscing, and thinking about you isn't helping. Thinking about you doesn't tell me what good it would do if I decide to face the truth. It could have been right, but I was wrong. I only think about you and no. You only hit me up when she's not home, and that's why I can't get caught up. We could have been, and we try to pretend every now and again. We don't dream about, don't think about what we could have been. I'm holding it in, cause I know in the end, you dream about, I think about what we could have been. We could have been, we could have, we could have been, we could have been, we could have been. We could have been.
What we could have been, what we should have been. If I wasn't with somebody, if we gotta hide it, what's the point of trying? I ain't just your friend, no, what's the point of lying? Trying to sell a story, ain't nobody buying. Look me in my eyes, don't that feel nice? Why should it end? Baby, I could've been him or your friend. Just say what and when, where to make a trip. Baby, make a wish, be the one I'm with. Should've been a, shoulda, coulda, would have been. Hey. Yeah, I would have been. Damn. Yeah, I would have been.
Drought and famine, natural disasters. My baby has been around for me. Kingdoms are falling, angels be calling. None of that could ever make me leave. Yeah. Every time I look into your eyes, I see it. You're all I need. Every time I get a bit inside, I feel it. Ooh.
Monday edition of the Leadership Blend with your host Ricardo Rice and my correspondents.
As.
Oh my God, we still sticking with.
Yeah, you gotta stick with
Okay,
one.
so
man.
Ron, how does that sound? How does that sound?
No, the whole flow together sounds good.
No, I'm talking about his name.
Well,
This is only like his second day, so we're trying to figure out personas. I don't like it.
It sounds like
Miles
you
the Real.
Yeah.
Miles the Real.
My Instagram name, because
I was trying to use my Instagram name too, but
Miles the Real. I mean, I don't see a problem with that.
what do you want?
I don't know, but that's not working for me.
I think you've been a little bit picky right now.
I can do that. You see all this? You see all this? This is all me. This is all
All
me.
right,
I can do
all
that.
right.
No, we're gonna play around with some others. That ain't working for me. And all right, that ain't working for me. And our special guest,
Ron Green.
All right, so when we left, we were talking about his organization. So tell us about your organization, the mission statement, all that good stuff. Tell us, because we didn't really get into that. So tell us about your organization.
So what we do is we equip youth to withstand negative influences, push through hardships, and make a successful transition into adulthood. That's kind of our major statement right there.
That was almost impressive. I was slightly impressed with that. I was slightly impressed with that.
So that's the deal. That's our mission, and we do that through a lot of different types of training and programs. I did mention one earlier, our Youth Alliance program. We run a couple of other programs, and we have actually a huge partnership with The Collective. It's a nonprofit in Smyrna, Georgia, and also Cumberland Community Church in Smyrna, Georgia.
Wait, is that the one by Burger King?
It is.
Oh.
Yeah.
I've never. Yeah, I have been there because my best friend did a concert there when I first moved here.
Yeah.
It's a very nice church. And it's very
It is. So we're in partnership. So through this three-way partnership, we've actually offering a 6-week paid internship for youth ages 16 and up. It's a paid internship, so they come in and learn. They come in and train and they learn. So it's not work at all. They get paid to come in and learn like character building, image building, soft skills training, social etiquette.
And that's not full yet?
Yeah, next class starts August 12th. August 12th is the next class. It's not full, but the one we're running now is we maxed out on that. So our next opportunity is August 12th to actually register for that program.
How many kids are in your program currently? Because when you came to Andrew, there was a lot of them.
So we had for Snatchback, our Youth Alliance program, we got about probably anywhere from probably about up and down 60 to 80 kids that's our base right now for the Youth Alliance program. Yeah, but the thing, here's the deal, our program, that program mandates the parents.
I was getting ready to say.
It mandates the parents to come along with their child to our trainings and stuff. So we got parents and child and children in the same room. Now a lot of people would say, well, the child's not going to open up. I challenge that because what we create is like the village mentality, right? What we understand is if you're talking about changing the direction of youth, parents got to be in the conversation because a lot of the stuff stems from the household, right? True. A lot of parents aren't equipped they don't have proper parenting skills. They're uneducated. They just don't know how to handle life experiences. And if we're going to teach a child how to develop change and to move forward, but then that child goes back home and it's still the same environment, the same mentality, the same mindset, then we're not doing nothing.
And that works. So the parents actually cooperate.
So all of the parents come to our program. So you have almost just as many parents as you do youth, and we do our regular training. And what happens is we involve the parents in training because guess what? They really need leadership training. Now we don't sell it like we want you to come because we want to train you because we're gonna get pushback. You didn't train me. I'm grown.
So y'all say free food.
Right. So we say we're gonna provide free food. We're gonna feed your child. So we feed everybody. Top of the program. For the program we start, we feed them, and then also we take them out to group outings that there's no financial hardships for the family. We're gonna pay for all that. Just like I said, that's how I met you. We did Andretti's, and Andretti's is not cheap
at all
for a group of like 60 people.
Not at all.
That is not cheap at all. But we pay for all that. TJ Maxx has looked at our program and deemed us as a reputable youth development organization, so they're funding us right now. So we make sure that we're doing the right thing, and but we want the parents involved, and that's kind of how we get them to be involved. But now it's like a village mentality, because when one parent's child don't have a way or something, they connect, they exchange numbers. I got them this week, you get mine next week, and this, just so now it's everybody pushing to get to the location. Because we don't have any transportation yet, but we're working on vans and stuff like that. But that's in the vision. We'll get that. But until that comes, we got the village mentality going on, right?
So y'all have a headquarters?
Yeah, headquarters is in Austell, Georgia. Yeah, it's called Sweetwater Mission. It's a huge complex. We have our office in there and a training inside there. That's the training room seats about maybe 100 people. So we're close to maxing it out. When everybody's there, it's like, hey, it's pretty tight, but it's all good.
It works. That's all that matters. All right, so boys versus girls.
Yeah, that was my.
What
next
is that
question.
like in your organization? Because we talk a lot about males, because of course.
Mm-hmm.
But what about females? So how do y'all do? Is there a separate program for them? Do y'all do different things for the girls? How does that work?
So not yet, but we are looking to do that, because that's just at the end of the day, you're gonna need that. But also, we will never eliminate the mixture, because it's good for them to learn side by side too. But in addition, it's good to it for your training. Some trainings to be gender specific. So not right now, but we're looking to do that, and I've been looking at some dynamic women who excel in that area, of training and stuff like that for our young girls. So we're looking at that, and we're going to go into that. So that's a component that we're working on.
Okay, because I know that dealing with the sexes, as much as you don't want to, you kind of have to, because everybody's needs are different. So
right,
males
absolutely.
need something different than females need, and vice versa.
That's a good question.
So I wanted to ask that question.
That's a good question.
All right, so tell us about your programs and services. 'Cause I know you have some down there that you want to speak about.
So another program that I wanted to, I covered the partnership we're in, and that partnership is with the Collective in the Cumberland. That's a great opportunity for your young kids to really get plugged in there. They make $9 an hour, coming in from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Friday. So they get 20 hours a week. It's a 1099, so no taxes deducted. So you're looking at roughly, $180 a week for them just to come in and learn stuff. So y'all want to get plugged in with that for sure. Then our
kids, that's good.
Yeah, and then our Youth Alliance program that we run. That's a monthly program we run at our headquarters. You want to get plugged in with that, and also we are in the school systems in Cobb County. So we do major training during school hours, which is almost unheard of.
I was about to say, how y'all pull that off?
Well, building relationships, right? So shaking hands. When I first started this, man, I did the paperwork, all the paperwork. I got our 501c3, did all that, got my cards. And then it was about building relationships, man. I think the most powerful skill set you can ever acquire is the skill set or the ability to be able to build rapport and relationships with people.
It's true. I would agree.
Absolutely. So, I used to come up to the school just as a principal in. My name's Ron Green. This is the program I'm offering. We know the problem. Here's how we can help. And, of course, we got a lot of no-nos. But then finally I made a connection. We started to build our framework. We started to have a record of credibility. And then they was like, well, come in to do a presentation. South Cobb High School said, do a presentation. Let me see what you got. So we did the presentation. They said, well, come in and do a pilot with about 50 students. Came and did the pilot, and we knocked it out the box. And they said, listen, we want you to come in during school hours and do some of your life skills training, because they need that. And South Cobb High is Title I school. So everybody know what comes along with Title I schools. You got a lot of poverty, a lot of, just a lot of stuff that's going on with Title I schools, a lot of problems. But they looked and said, okay, because they don't have the answer. They really don't. They don't have the answer.
Now, let's not play a game. Okay, so those that are listening and not watching, how tall are you?
6'3".
Okay, so now let's pull it from under the rug. If a 6'3" dude comes knocking on your door, you're more inclined to be like, okay, what you really need, and listen a little bit more, versus a 5'7" something dude come knock on your door. So that you have an advantage. That's my point. You have an advantage.
I can't say that. I can't say that.
I can't either.
I will say that. I don't care what y'all say. I will say that.
But
I'm just saying. I mean, just to say, because he's like 6'3", light skinned dude. He walks up on you. I automatically thought you were an athlete. I thought you were ex-athlete when you came to Andreas. I was like, does he play ball? Because does he play ball?
I used to.
So I mean, yeah, we know what you used to.
All right, smoke a lot of crack.
No, it's the presentation. If you can present something that people have had an idea about but didn't know how to apply, they'll listen. You know what I'm saying? And what he's saying is something that, and I don't want to just boo-boo on them like this, but like the Big Brother Big Sister program. Anybody that's ever lived in the city of Atlanta know what it is. A lot of people don't actually know how that program operates. I did an internship there, and I didn't know either. And I was in the Big Brother Big Sister program, and I never understood why I never had a black big brother, ever.
Why you never had one? 14
years, never had a black big brother. My current big brother, he has been my mentor since I was 12 years old.
Wait, you have a big brother? I want a big brother.
Yeah, it's.
I want a big brother.
But that's something. What they do is that if you can have somebody that can sit in your face and tell you the truth, tell you what they've been through, how they experienced, and this is what it looked like on this side. That, like you said, when you can get people to trust you, because a lot of the time it really just be that factor. Getting somebody to trust you, whether it's friendship, relationship, mentorship, that particular factor leads to everything else. It'll lead to success or destruction. If I trust you enough to follow you, you can lead me whichever way. And it just so happened that you got somebody that's leading them in a direction that in the good direction. Like, hey, look, you could do that. It looked good. The glamour looked good. The chains and the money and this and that look good. But you don't know what it looked like on that other side. I know what it looked like on that other side. Like, it's having kids listen to your experiences. A lot of that means something. If I would have had somebody when I was doing what I was doing in the street, like, hey, bro, I done been this, and that. I done been in this and that. I had to actually experience. So I done been homeless before, been slept in the car before, been had to sleep with the pistol in the crib before, been done, you know what I'm saying, been running in the spots and somebody told on me, and then I done had all those experiences. So when you have those conversations with kids that don't know what it look like, but they think they know what it feel like, and you tell them what it feel like, it kind of detours them. Like, I don't know if I can sleep in the box.
Wait, well, that's my next question.
I'm 49.
Okay. Okay.
My next question is: you just said you still talk to your mentor since you were 12,
right?
So what are like your success stories with like your students? I guess I'm asking. So.
Oh, for me.
Yes.
Oh, yes. So we have what we call a alumni group, right? So we understand that so if we get a child at say middle school or even high school, a few years or so, they're going to either. Our goal is to get them either in higher, towards higher education, or towards some kind of entrepreneurial lane, legitimate, right?
Yeah, let's make that. This is all on the up and up, people. It's all on the up and up.
Or some kind of specialized training, right? That's our lane. And so we only got them for a few years, and then they're gonna do that. So what we do is we've only been we've been in around since 2015, which is not very long. That's 4 years, right? So we're just now getting to really reach our alumni, people who have been through our program, who are now either in college or entrepreneurs or whatever. But we have an alumni group where the system or the idea is to build a big alumni group that graduates from our program. They go on to do whatever it is they're doing in life, but they come back and they're part of this program. So we track them. We call them for like three years. But we want them to be a part of this. We really sell them on being a part of the alumni group. They come back, they share their stories, they show others how to get through the program, what it's done for them. And then as years go by, like 10 years from now, the alumni group is growing, and then really it runs itself, right? I mean, so that's kind of, we have, so there have been a lot of, so right now we're just starting to track people. Because it takes a few years to start tracking and stuff like that. So now we're just getting to, but we've had a lot of success stories. Individuals who came in there raw, just raw with it, and you see the light bulb go on though. That's what I live for, to see the light bulb go on, because I know that there's greatness inside of them, right? I believe there's greatness in everybody. Everybody's got a reservoir of gifts and talents inside them, God given. I'm a believer in God, and I believe that the creator of this place gave everybody something to give to the world. got to find out what it is. Me, I like to empower and motivate people to do stuff, you know, and that's kind of like my little sweet spot right there.
Well, let me owe you congratulations, because didn't you just recently get engaged? That's on Facebook.
I did.
Congratulations on getting engaged.
I appreciate that. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to make it to the wedding to make sure I don't mess up. You know.
Then do not be. Okay, we're not even.
I'm just messing.
Yeah, I've seen your fiance. She don't like she play. I'm looking at her
nah,
pictures.
she's Panamanian. She's Panamanian. She from NY, but she's a very compassionate person. She might have a little tough exterior. She seems
that's
that
not
way.
a bad thing.
Right.
I think that's what
she's in sales. So she does she's dermatology sales. So she's in sales. So she's a talker, but she's she good for me.
I did have another question. With y'all been in the schools, and it's crazy because we was just talking about these schools that be trash. How do you guys have that conversations, the conversations about leadership with teachers in schools, or is it mostly geared towards the student?
What kind of what's the question?
Like, you can teach students how to lead.
Mm-hmm.
Do y'all have that same conversation with the teachers?
I haven't. I have not with the teachers. I don't have much interaction. Right. I don't have much interaction with the teachers. They give us a spot. Some of them even don't want us there. Some of them really don't want us there because they think it's outside their curriculum, because they want everything. Schools want everything to be curriculum based, right?
Mm-hmm. So,
you know, we haven't. So, will we ever? Maybe. You know, but my focus is right now. It's a lot of kids out there dying. My first foremost is to preserve life. That's first foremost. But then my goal is to transform and restore through training. To me, it's all about the mindset. You know, I heard somebody say the most devastating disability a person could ever have is not blindness, it's not being deaf, it's not being paralyzed, it's having a negative mindset. And I believe that to be true because my mindset was a negative one. I was looking at, coming up as a kid, I couldn't see anything beyond my environment. You know, I was like, I'm gonna always be a junkie. I'm gonna always just get by. I'm gonna always just make ends meet, and then I'm gonna die. So my life moved in that direction. Your life will always move in the direction of your most dominant thoughts. I'm a firm believer in that. But when we change our mindset, right, and we start to really think differently, then we create a different reality for ourselves, you know. So it's just a mindset. It's so much to do with the mindset, man.
You sound like a guru. You sound like one of those.
No, I'm not a guru.
Those gurus. You might be on your way to guruhood. That's a new word I just created that day. Guruhood. You get on your way to that. All right. So what's next for the future of Operation Snatchback?
So my vision is to we want standalone facilities. So if you see how Boys and Girls Club is, and I tried to connect with them before I built this organization, and the vision just wouldn't. It was, to me personally, their systems was a little bit antiquated or outdated to me. But
let's see what works.
So my deal is, I want to have standalone facilities like Boys and Girls Club all across the world. So this is a global vision, but you can come in, you can play basketball, you can play maybe even video games, those that we kind of deem as okay. We're gonna have a theater room for that. You can play that, all that, but then there are rooms where or facilities where you are going to have character and image building 101. You're going to have leadership 101. So the focus is not going to be on activities. It's going to be on the mindset, right? So we want to turn out leaders. That's what we want to do. So every time our logo is the eagle, right? So every time you see that eagle on the building, you know that's a safe place for your child, and you know that your child is going to we're going to help your child to become a leader, help you to help your child become a leader. So that's the overall goal, is to be global and to train our youth to become leaders, man, and make that successful transition to adulthood in spite of all of the challenges they have out here, especially as being young black people. The challenges are then inflated. But I always like to say, because, you know, I don't want any of them to play the boo-hoo card, right? And that's what a lot of youth resort to because they just can't see any farther than that. I went back home a few weeks ago, well, not a few weeks ago, about a year ago, and I seen some of my same partners that I grew up with at the same corner store doing the same thing, right? But then I look at them, and they never been 50 miles outside of that city, right? And their mindset, there's nothing changed, and they don't want to change because they have not been exposed to anything else. So I look at that, and I make sure I take from that and be able to teach our youth. You know, just exposure is big, man. Exposure is real big.
Absolutely.
Real big.
All right. So how do people get in touch with you?
So you can get in contact with us via website at www.snatchback.net, or you can go to our IG at Operation_Snatch_back, or you can hit us on Facebook. Just look up Operation Snatchback Youth Development. You'll see the eagle, and that'll be our Facebook page right there.
All right. I was gonna say something. I forgot what it was. What was I going to say?
As you get older, it goes up there.
You're older than me, so you're older than me. So
which is why I'm telling you.
Let me throw that.
So it just drops down at any given time. It'll just drop back down. It might not. It might be. Right.
Oh, I know it was.
See what I'm saying?
Because you're nervous. I know it was. So I will say that you have a very good team, because in my part time I drive for Lyft, and I picked up one of your ladies. And somehow we got on you, and I was like, "Oh, I know you guy," and I was like, "Yeah, but he flakes out on me. Like, I've been trying to reach out to him. I see him every time he come to Andretti's, and she remembered me from Andretti's.
Okay,
and
okay.
I was like, "Well, yeah, I've been trying to get." She's like, "You should really get Ron." I was like, "Nah, I'm trying to get in touch with him. He don't want to cooperate." She's like, "No. Add him on Facebook, and then blah blah blah." And I was like, "All right." She was like, "No, you really should, because he's a good guy." I was like, "I kind of figured that. I'm not really sure, but I kind of think he's a decent guy." But she was like, "No, you should do it." And I did, and then we finally got you here. So shouts out. I can't remember her name, but shouts out. You have a good team.
I appreciate
She's
it.
really into it. All right, everybody. Final thoughts. Anybody with final thoughts?
Volunteer opportunities for myself personally. Can I get your contact information?
That's not a final thought.
No, hold on. Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm gonna endorse that. Absolutely.
Yeah, okay. That was my final thought.
You do after we get off air. Like, well, that's not a final thought.
It was still nice though, because I'm actually looking into doing City Year. I don't know if you've heard of that, like with AmeriCorps City Year.
Oh, I have
and
not.
It's like with AmeriCorps, and you go and volunteer with inner city schools for a year, and then like you try to bring down the dropout rates and stuff like that. So it'll be helpful just to have some background in it.
Okay,
Miles.
I definitely am on board with what you're doing. Hopefully, in the future, you're definitely going to expand to different cities that need it as well, such as like half the cities, most of the cities up north. Just keep doing what you're doing, man.
Appreciate that.
Double R.
We in these streets. That's all you need to know. We in these streets for real.
Oh, good God.
Been in these streets for a long time.
Oh, God.
But in real life, you do get to see. Because I'm a success story of that. I was in a program called PALS.
Police Allegedly.
Yep.
Yeah, we partnered with them. Yeah.
I used to be in PALS and being in the streets for real. And then you start like having conversations with these dudes that be 6'5", 290, and they tell you like, "Nah, I used to be out there too, but this one I'm doing, and I decided to be on this side." And just those conversations with people on the other side, it mean a lot. So we definitely appreciate you, man.
I appreciate that.
Well, like I said, I finally was able to drag you in here, so I guess I should at least say I appreciate you. So I want to say a special thanks to Ron
Thank you.
Green and Operation Snatchback for the great work that you guys do, and we will definitely be in partnership soon. All right, so at 3:30, you want to head over to the Now Network to watch my television show, The Leadership Blend TV show. Check your local listings for channels and all that good stuff, 11 different states. And on Friday, we will see you guys, same time, same place, on The Leadership Blend with your host, Ricardo D. Rice.